Let's get to Rick Santelli in Chicago talking not big government, Rick, but little government, right?
Well, I guess we're talking a little bit of both, because Illinois makes everybody's government look little or small by comparison. You know, on my license plate, it says Illinois, land of Lincoln. But my guest, Wet Moser, and boy, Wet, what a great first name. I feel like that should be a character in a Clint Eastwood movie. You had something different, non-land of Lincoln. What did you call Illinois?
Land of 7,000 governments.
So we win something.
Yes.
Is that the most in the entire country?
Most in the country, ahead of Pennsylvania.
Okay, now I want you to tell me, first of all, how we know this.
Well, every 10 years, the Census Bureau does a survey of local governments, and they count up all the local governments for every state in the whole country. It's everything from school districts to mosquito abatement districts, you know, anything with taxing authority, and we have the most.
Let me stop you right there. Anything with taxing authority. So there is a reason for the proliferation of Illinois fiefdoms, and that is to get inside people's wallets. So you're talking about raising money, whether it's through municipal bonds like Board of Education or some of the mosquito abatement. So it's, in essence, it's to get at money.
Yes, it's overlapping local government districts that pay for all sorts of things. Okay,
now before this evolvement, what was the limitation of restriction in getting at money that caused this to develop?
Oh, this was in the 1800s, and the state limited the amount of debt that municipalities could carry. So to get around that debt limit, they created, all sorts of different taxing districts that overlap all over the place.
Okay, now what's the second largest in terms of fiefdoms?
Pennsylvania, which has a similar township system, a lot of very, very tiny governments.
Another state that is far from an economic engine locomotive with a lot of horsepower. And then beyond those two, beyond Illinois and Pennsylvania, what happens there, Wet?
Then it starts to correlate a lot more with the size of the state. Illinois and Pennsylvania are really outliers in terms of the number of governments compared to the number of people we have.
You know, I find this really fascinating at this point in history where we're all discussing fiscal cliff. And what you're describing is a situation where the state of Illinois allowed go-arounds basically to create more debt. It sounds to me like in this instance, Illinois is a model for the over $1 trillion debts we've had for several years in this country. Now, we're dealing with reform issues right now. Mm-hmm. Illinois has a boatload of reform it needs to do. Doesn't this fiefdom proliferation make reform really difficult?
It does, and people have tried to reduce the number of governments. Kirk Dillard, who ran against Pat Brady for the GOP slot for the governorship in 2010, he ran on that platform. Didn't quite happen, but it is an idea that's continued to float for a couple decades now.
And right now we're looking at our Governor Quinn is in a battle with unions, and one of the judges weighed in saying that if you can't afford to pay people you've promised raises to, you're going to have to accrue a 7% interest charge. Boy, that's going to go a long way. Just think about it, Illinois taxpayers, over the years, some of your checks have been a little late. I don't think you got an extra 7% for your time. Wet, thank you for being our guest today.
Thank you very much.
Carl, back to you.